Hello friends, welcome to Cloudberry. If you're new here, that's okay, because so am I. This is my brand new island. After the 2.0 update came out, like a lot of people, I was feeling pretty burnt out on the game, but the new items and all of the new features got me really excited, and I wanted to start over again because I had a brand new vision for what I wanted for my island. And I figured that the easiest way to do it would just be to completely restart from scratch rather than flattening. So this is my second island, and I'm really excited about the new items and about what I have planned. So I decided to start my YouTube channel because I wanted to share all of those things with other people. And I have found that the Animal Crossing community is just a really fun thing to be a part of, and I wanted to get more involved in it, so here we are. In this video, I will be doing a speed build of my very first build on the new island, and just talking to you a little bit about kind of what I envision for Cloudberry. So, real quick, I will show you my map. So, as you can see, I've done just a little bit of terraforming down there in the bottom right corner, but for the most part, this is what I started with. Oh, and I did get rid of a river so that I could start building my road, but for the most part, I haven't really touched much of the island just yet. I do think that I will probably end up keeping most of the residents that I have so far. So real quick, we'll just go through them. There's Deirdre, Jacob, Flora, Fang, my very favorite, Shino, Leopold, who for some reason I always want to call Lionel. I always get the two of them mixed up. Eric, June, Audie, and Rudy. I have to say overall I'm pretty happy with this lineup, so like I said, most of them are going to be staying with us, but I will unfortunately be saying goodbye to Leopold and Jacob at some point. So yeah, those are my villagers. I do also intend to add a couple of other residents as well to flesh out some buildings that I have planned. So now let's go and take a look at the space we'll be building on today. So this is the area that we are going to be working on. Like I said, I already did kind of some pre-terraforming just to get everything ready. So we have up to the 3rd level. And then this nice big space here is going to open up in back of resident services eventually and be a space where I have some villager houses. But we won't be really working on that just now. It's mostly just going to be this front area here, and then the area there to the left will be doing kind of a little transition area between this build and my resident services. So I did already set up all my simple panels. I like to organize them like this because it just makes it a little bit easier when I'm ready to start grabbing and going. So I did kind of pre-lay them out, so you're getting a little bit of a preview of what we're going to be building today. It is a retro hotel in this kind of seafoam and coral color combination, and I'm really excited about it. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is start laying out my bookshelves, except as you are going to notice, I very quickly realized that I have forgotten a step. So we're gonna waste some time rearranging that, and then I will remember that I need to lay out my groundwork first. But then I got distracted by a balloon, and this is something that is going to become very apparent. I don't like to let balloons go by. Is it good? It's lace shorts. Those are actually kind of cute, but we're gonna go back to the cutoffs. But yeah, I don't like to let balloons go by, especially right now because my island is so new. There are still a lot of DIYs that I haven't gotten yet, and I could go to a treasure island and get them all, but that takes a lot of time. So I figure if there's a balloon zooming by, I might as well shoot it and see if there's anything good in it. So Anyway, here we are laying some kind of cement colored tile blocks down to form the base underneath where our hotel is going to be. This is one of my own codes, and any of the codes that I use, whether they are mine or ones that I have taken from someone else, will be in the description of the video, so you won't have to look far to find them. But this one is one that I created myself to kind of match with a breeze block that I also created for my island, and you'll see that a little bit later in the build. I do want to mention that this hotel build is inspired by two of my favorite Animal Crossing creators. Oh, balloon. Is it good? What is it? Oh, iron. Can't argue with crafting supplies, really. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So this build is inspired by two of my favorite Animal Crossing creators, Tropikitch, Marilyn, and Nora at Horrible Gaming. The original Motel build was one that Tropikitch did, and the panels that I'm using for the outside are very similar to the ones that Marilyn created, but I did want my green to be just a little bit more yellow, and I wanted my pink to be just a little bit more orange than hers. So these are designs that I sort of recreated myself, but the inspiration for the overall build was very much from her original retro motel build. And my windows, I redid the windows because I wanted pink curtains. I really wanted to lean hard into the pink and sea foam. So, but Tropikitch did the original motel that I took inspiration from, and the pool that I built here, I took a lot of inspiration from one of Nora's builds from Horrible Gaming. So thank you to both of them for being so generous with their creativity. You'll notice that when I pick up my panels, I'm doing it in a specific order. I am essentially picking them up in the order that I'm going to drop them down, so that when I get ready to come over to the building, oh, balloon. What is it? Is it something good? Oh, money. I like money. Anyway, when I pick up my panels, I do it in the order that I'm going to place them down, so that when I go to put them down, I know exactly what is where, and it makes it really easy for me to just bang them against the bookshelves and get it done really quickly. So it takes a little bit more time when you are setting things up and collecting your panels, but in the end, it will save you a lot of time in searching. So now I'm going to test out this window. So I did the no vacancy sign in the window, and I knew that I was going to have to put something in front of it because, of course, the simple panel designs repeat. And so I wanted to test it out with a little bush just to see if I was happy with the way that the repeat looks. And I am not at all happy with the way it looks. So I am going to remove this bush, and as you'll see, I come up with another solution for how I want to do a no vacancy sign. So we are going to very quickly whip through a custom design speed build where you will get to see me adjust this design to fit one of the standing electric signs. Because I figure if I just put a plain window up against the wall and then I put the no vacancy on something separate, then I don't have to worry about the repeating pattern. That is one thing that I really hate about the simple panels. They are so great and you can be so creative with them, but sometimes the repeating design just makes them unworkable. So enjoy listening to some lo-fi music and watching me create for just a minute. Just a very quick tip. When you are doing a custom design, if you are trying to get like an outline of something and it's hard to see because you're working with two colors that are extremely close, sometimes changing one to a very bright or light color like this can help you see where the outline needs to be, and then you can always adjust it back later. So that's something that I do a lot when I'm doing my designs. Just makes it a little bit easier for me to see what I'm doing. And now I'm just taking that vacancy out of the window and adjusting some of the little glare marks on it, and removing the middle metal band that was at the top. And then once that is done, we will plop it here against the building, and then I'm going to craft that electrical sign as well with my new vacancy design, and we will see if we like the way it looks. So we're gonna put the bush back because I think it looks cute there. Gonna plop down some air conditioners just for a little added realism. That will also help hide some of that repeating design of the window. I'm gonna run over here for another little bush. And one here on the end. Throw in an armchair, have a little place to sit, and now we're gonna go and collect a palm tree, but I saw a bug that I hadn't caught yet, so I thought I'd see if I could get it, and of course when I go back, it's not there, but that's okay. We still got our palm tree. So we will just plop that down right there, and, oh, a balloon. And you can see me whiff it, like 3, 4, oh, 5th time's a charm? Wow. That's embarrassing, I really should have cut that. Oh well. What is it? Was it worth it? Oh, a bottled ship. I can use that later. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way that the front of this is coming out. I'm going to gather up some fencing to start working on the top here. I don't know if you can see, but in the background there are some rain clouds gathering. It's getting rather gloomy, and I absolutely hate trying to build in the rain. I don't know what it is. But it's like it stifles my creativity. And it's funny because I actually really like kind of cooler, like fall type cloudy weather in real life, but for some reason in the game I cannot build if it is cloudy and rainy. So I'm going to get these tiles laid and do just a little bit more work, and then you will see me time travel to tomorrow, because hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit less cloudy. I had decided to create my own code for the water and for the pool tile, and then I ended up just not really liking it in the end. And I saw, I forget where it was, maybe it was a Reddit post, but I saw that this creator, who I will link in the description, had created this water and tile combination that matches pretty much perfectly to the above ground pool that you can buy from your Nook stop by redeeming miles for it. And the one that I have on my island is white. So, which honestly, even if that wasn't the one that I had, I probably would have gotten it anyway, because out of the choices, it's my favorite. But so she has this white tile and blue pool pattern that matches perfectly with the pool. So, oh, and it's the next day now. I have restarted. I like to build early in the morning. That's another thing. You'll often see that my builds start around 5:30 to 6 a.m. in game time. I just love the morning light, and 5 a.m. is my favorite song of all the Animal Crossing songs. So here I'm just kind of checking to see whether I like the hedge or the iron fence the best, and at first I think I like the hedge best. So I ended up placing it all around the edge of the pool. I do like the kind of lush feeling that it gives to the area, which I think is important for a sort of tropical area, and plus it's also a pool. So I did like that aspect of it, and then I put it all around and decided that maybe I didn't like it against the front. So I went back to the iron fencing up here at the front. And I'm also going to leave a little bit of a gap here because I have a neon sign that I'm going to be placing there eventually. So Now I remembered that I haven't checked to see if I like my vacancy sign yet, so I'm going to plop it down there and give it a look, and I definitely do like that much better than the door with the repeating design. So now I'm going to collect some of my ivy panels. These are going to form kind of the backdrop for our little rooftop pool. So I'm just going to place those along here. This code is not one of mine, but I will put the code in the description for you if you're interested in grabbing it for yourself. Tropikitch on her island has one that's very similar, but it's more of like a chain link, which I thought was really cute on her island. But for my island, I'm going for just a little bit more of an old-fashioned and kind of a bit more of a natural feel. And so I thought that the wooden trellis just fit my aesthetic a little bit better. So that is a little bit different from the one that she had on hers. I suppose I should probably talk just a little bit too about kind of what I envision for Cloudberry. So I'm definitely going for a bit of a retro vibe. It's not going to be super accurate to a mid-century time period, just because there are going to be things like LCD TVs on my island, which of course did not exist in the mid-century period. And here I'm just checking to see where I like the neon sign. So that's why I'm running up and down a lot. But yeah, I'm going for sort of a retro tourist town kind of vibe. And at the front of my island, near the airport, it's going to have kind of a tropical sort of feel to it. And then as you get further to the back of the island, it's going to get more foresty. And so my idea for the island is that it's a little tourist town nestled at the front of a national park. I love national parks. My family and I are trying to visit all of them, actually. And we try to hit at least one a year. I just think that they are such a treasure and so worth celebrating, and I wanted one of my islands to reflect that. So Cloudberry is going to sit right on the edge of Alpine Mountain National Park, which I totally made up. It's not a real park. But the front half is going to be very beachy, and then the back half is going to be more foresty and mountainy. And it's very much inspired by real life places. The beachy area is going to be sort of inspired by Gulf Shores, Alabama. I spent a lot of summers there as a kid with a youth group that I was a part of. We volunteered for Habitat for Humanity in Pensacola, but for some reason we stayed in Gulf Shores. And I want you to know, if you're from Gulf Shores, everything I'm about to say, I say with love. It is such a tourist trap. Like, there's souvenir shops everywhere, and it's very much built with tourism in mind. And it's just super kitschy, and like there's seafoam and coral everywhere, which is kind of the inspiration for the hotel. And I just love it. So the beachy area is very much inspired by that. The town, as you get closer to the park, is sort of inspired by Estes Park, Colorado, which is one of my favorite places to vacation. And the park itself is very much inspired by the Rocky Mountains. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains, and a big piece of my heart is still there. And so that is what I'm modeling the back half of my island after. And the whole thing I want to have kind of a retro Route 66 kind of vibe to it. Like I said, there are going to be some anachronistic things in the island just because those are the items that we have, and you know, some of them are just too fun not to use. But that's just kind of the aesthetic that I want to shoot for, and the feeling I want you to get, even if, you know, there is an LCD TV somewhere. Now you get to see me faff about with this sofa for way too long because it wasn't centered, and I thought I needed more pieces than I actually needed, and then I ended up just adjusting the rug because the couch really fit much better with 3 pieces instead of 4, and the rug just needed to be smaller. So, and that's honestly so much of the design process is just trial and error, lay it out, see if you like it, and when you decide that you hate it, you take it back and you readjust things, because that's just kind of how it is. I don't think anybody starts a build and gets it all right in one go. I'm also going to end up changing the color of these lights as well, I believe, because I wasn't really digging the white and pink. I didn't realize that the white lights, or the white poles, had pink lights. These were just what ended up being in my Nook stop, and I thought, oh, well, that'll actually kind of go well with the colors of the motel, but then I just ended up not really liking it, and I thought with the wood as the deck underneath this little lookout lounge, that the darker lights would look better. See what I mean about the couch, though? It's just not working. So we're gonna scrap those parts of the rug and make it a little bit smaller. This rug is one of my own designs. I am an absolute sucker for mid-century decor and furniture and architecture, and I especially love atomic age kind of aesthetics. My dining set at home is actually an authentic 50s chrome and vinyl set. It's just my favorite thing ever. I love that aesthetic. And I couldn't really find a rug that already existed that I liked, so I just made one. And as you can see, it is raining once again. Oh, what's in the balloon? Oh, I already have that one. So it's raining again. Unfortunately, I did not pick a good day, and so after I lay down this rug, I am going to skedaddle to tomorrow again, just so that I can build in pleasant, sunny weather. And just like that, it's tomorrow, and there's a dead bird on my beach. Someone should do something about that. Not me, though. I got stuff to do. Alright, so we will race back to our lookout lounge and pick up right where we left off in this lovely, luscious morning light. See how pretty it is? I just love the way that it, hits the edges of things in the morning, and it's, so crisp and bright and pretty. I'm such a sucker for early mornings in this game. Not in real life. You cannot drag me out of bed at 5 o'clock unless there's a very good reason in real life. And even then, sometimes not. But in-game, absolutely. Maybe if real life played soothing music at 5 o'clock in the morning, I would be more about it. But it does not, and so I'm not. So I'm just grabbing some more decor for the poolside. We're gonna slap our cassette player down and we're gonna rock out to some Surfin' KK, because serious retro pool vibes with that song. I really love it. I am probably gonna have it playing at multiple places around my island. Throw down the coconut milk. I'm sorry. The coconut milk is the cutest item in the entire game. Fight me. It's so adorable. Really though, 2.0 gave us a lot of really, really cute items. The bird ring being one of them. I freaking love that thing. Also, can we talk about how cool the Schefflera is? Whatever that plant's called. It is. I still love the monsteras, because I am a basic bee when it comes to plants. I love monsteras, but this one is really nice for filling a lot of space and making things look very fluffy and lush. I really like it. Do want to give a shout out to Colin Crossing, who designed the road that I'm using in front of the motel. It is such a great road design. It's the same one, I believe, that Nora used in her tropical island. Nora of Horrible Gaming. And it's really well put together, and I just really like it. So thank you, Colin, for sharing that. And the code will, of course, be in the description. So here I'm trying to decide if I like having 2 bushes on either side of the ladder as you come up to the lounge, and I super don't. So we're going to get rid of those, and we'll just pretend this never happened. And I think I'm going to get rid of that one too. Yep, I did. Just wasn't doing it for me. But I do like having the one there, so it can stay. And now you're going to see me faff around with this flamingo for the foreseeable future, because I just could not decide where I wanted her positioned or how. And there's a balloon, a Nordic lowboard, which gave me some ideas. So I'm going to be using that a little bit later. Pretty happy with that for right now. I'm going to stick a yucca right there. I love the scattered papers for city builds. This is my first, it's not a city core island. It's going to be very foresty, and there are going to be a lot of natural areas. But the front, of course, is, pretty city core-esque. And the scattered papers are so nice for giving it that kind of lived-in city type feel. Because, littering is a real-life thing, unfortunately. So. Also, I love the cars. When I saw that they had an aqua-colored one, I just about flipped, because I knew that I wanted to do this motel. So I was looking at the colors for the cars, because the only one that I had seen really was the white one. And I was like, oh my gosh, they have pink and they have aqua. So the aqua one definitely needed a home right in front of the hotel. Motel? Hotel? What's the difference? Do you know? I don't. I feel like maybe a hotel is 2 stories and a motel is just 1, but Motel 6s have 2 stories. So is it that a motel, you have access from the outside? Because in a hotel, you have to go inside and take the elevator and then walk down your hall. But with a motel, you can just walk right up to your door. Is that the difference? I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I could just Google it, but I'm busy. I'm doing a voiceover. Now I am moving all of my crap across the road because I'm going to start working on this little transition area here. Here's me putting away a bunch of crap that I should have done a long time ago, because I don't need it right now. The storage shed is such a lifesaver. I love not having to wait for my house to load so that I can access all my crap. Oh my gosh. Game changer. So I'm going to build this up just a little bit more because I don't want quite that much space. I feel like sometimes, I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I get a little bit greedy with space. And I think, oh, I've got all of this room to work with. And then I realize that the space is actually just a little bit too big to work with. I do this in my Happy Home Paradise builds a lot, where I will think, oh, I'll just make this gigantic space and I will have so much room to do all of these things for the client. And then I get in there and I realize, actually, I want less space. And I've done that here as well with my little transition area, and kind of with this road too. So I'm going to go through here and sort of reconfigure this a little bit and rearrange things so that I like them a little bit better. And I ended up doing the lines coming from the bottom. This is the only drawback to using the codes that I am, is that these straight lines, which are great for parking lots, they don't mesh well with like the top curb area, because there isn't a shadow on them, and so it's very obvious when you put them up there that it doesn't quite match, and it was making me a little bit bonkers when I tested it out. So I moved it to the bottom, which kind of looks a little bit funky, but we'll just say that that person in the aqua car backed into their space. Whiffed it. Is it worth it? Geometric print socks. I actually like those socks. They're fun. I will say there wasn't a whole lot in the update in terms of clothes that I was very excited about. I do tend to make a lot of my own clothes in the game. Right now I'm wearing mostly stock stuff, except for my baseball cap. But yeah, there's just not historically been a lot in the game that I'm super excited about wearing. So I was hoping that there would be more that I would like in the update, and it was just kind of meh. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't anything to write home about. So in between these ivy covered trellises, I'm doing this breeze block pattern. This is one of my own that I created, and it is based on authentic mid-century breeze blocks. I actually looked at a bunch of pictures and picked out one that I really liked. So that one is one of mine, and my MA code will be in the description, and everything should be posted by the time I post this video. So if you see any codes that you like of mine, you are welcome to pilfer them for your own island. I 100% stole the LCD TV on top of the drink machine idea from Nora at Horrible Gaming. She does that on her city builds, and it is so cute. So I decided to get a TV that matched my drink machine, and just completely rip off her idea. So thank you, Nora, for your creativity as always. I know there are probably going to be some of you wondering where I get all of my items. I do not have a spicy console, as the kids say. My console isn't modified at all. I actually have the Animal Crossing edition, which is one of the newer models, so even if I wanted to spice it up, I would not be able to, because it's not compatible with that. So for all of my items, I've gotten some of them in game, but I have such a new island, so there's no way I could have accumulated all of this yet. But I use treasure islands. There are a lot of Discord servers that you can join, or Twitch streamers that you can support that will give you access to treasure islands where you can get items for free. I know that there are some companies that ask you to pay for items, which I think is ludicrous, and it's also against Nintendo's terms of service, so if you care about that sort of thing. But yeah, don't pay for items. Go to treasure islands, get them for free. Or, if not for free, support a creator and get access to 24/7 islands if that's your bag too. But yeah, don't pay someone real live money just to bring you a toilet. In-game. In real life, that's totally reasonable. In-game, not so much. So you remember that thing that I said about having spaces that are too large and then realizing that you want to make them smaller? I didn't make this small enough the first time that I added onto it, so I came up here and added a little bit more, because it was just feeling too big, and I just didn't feel like I had enough stuff to fill it and still make it look good. Like, I could have filled it up, but I think it would have felt like I was forcing it, so I built a little bit more cliff up here, and I'm going to rearrange these fences and just make it a little bit smaller and more cozy down there. My idea for the space is, if you've ever been to a motel, which I think most people probably have, there's always a spot nearby where there's a vending machine, and back Back before everyone and their mom had a phone in their pocket, and this is going to show you how old I am, public telephones were everywhere, and you could always find one in a hotel. So I remember when public telephones were 10 cents. I probably sound like your grandma. Is anybody else disappointed that the little knit cap with ear flaps destroys your hair? I would love that item so much if you could actually see my hair through it, but you can't. It's very disappointing. I really love these new wooden partitions. I would not have thought to place one outside, but I tested it out and I really ended up liking it. And I use that, they're so versatile. I use them a lot in my Happy Home Paradise builds as well, because you can use them as shelves, you can use them to divide up rooms. They're just a really neat item. I really like them. That's another thing that I wanted to mention. I'm really hoping to do some Happy Home Paradise builds, either as speed builds or on a stream. I do want to do one for all of my villagers, and then I also collect amiibos. So I have like tons of the NPCs that I could do. So if that is something that you would be interested in seeing me do, either as a speed build similar to this or maybe in a live stream, please do let me know, and I will try to line that up for a future video. Can we talk about the steel fence? It is not my favorite fencing at all, like by a long shot, but it makes the cutest bike racks. I've used it twice on my island for that already in just this one build, and it's probably going to show up a few more times. I'm kind of obsessed with using it. Can we also just talk about the snack item? It is way cuter than it has any right to be. And I love that you can customize it. Like, you can have cookies, or you can have like essentially Cheetos or potato chips. Like, it's cool that they give us a variety of different snacks. Also the scooter. Okay, I know I said that the coconut milk was the cutest item, but I also love a good retro scooter like Vespas. So yeah, the scooter is also top tier. Just so many good items in this update. Definitely still some features that I wish they would have added. I'm still holding out hope that we will get more custom design slots, because I know they gave us like 50 more and it still was not enough. There will never be enough design slots when you like to make your own stuff. So if any Nintendo executives are listening to this, I'm sure they're on the edge of their seats waiting for my opinion. More design slots is on my wish list. That's one thing that speaking of Happy Home Paradise, I would love to incorporate more of. But I don't necessarily want to give up a design slot when I'm working on building my island for like a one-time Happy Home Paradise build. And I don't know, like, I know if you set your island flag, you can then delete the design, and your flag will still retain the design, like it doesn't delete it. But I don't know if that's true for Happy Home Paradise builds, and I am afraid to experiment. So if anyone knows the answer, please let me. I don't think that I have really explained what my goal for this area is, mostly because I hadn't actually planned on working on it during the video today, so it was just something that I kind of started doing on a whim. But it's just a little transition area between my motel and the beachfront, and it's just going to be kind of a little wooden deck area that hotel guests can come and lay in a hammock and get some ocean breezes, or relax and and read the paper with a cup of morning coffee. So just kind of a quiet, relaxing little corner for the guests to enjoy while they are on vacation. That was a little break for me to go and see Llama Man, because I needed him to paint some things, including that gumball machine, which I then decided that I really didn't like the way it looked there, so takesy backsies. But I had a bunch of things that I needed to have customized, and I figured you guys probably didn't want to see me walk around Harv's Island, get a horrible haircut, and have Cyrus paint a bunch of things. So now I'm just trying to figure out how I want to arrange this seating area. I wanted to leave enough space between the hammock and the chairs that it seemed like people would be able to get around, but I didn't want it to have too much dead space, so. And then I decided I wasn't really into the public telescope thing there. It just wasn't the tourist telescope. It wasn't really doing it for me. So, gonna grab some more foliage for the area just to make it a little bit more cheerful. And I'm going to put some plants up here and just to make it really pretty and cozy and welcoming. And you can't have a street without some manhole covers. Boy, those are such a beast to try to position though. If you don't get them right the first time, you have to pick them up and then move a millimeter to the left and turn 2.6 degrees to the right, and then try again, and then it's still not correct. Do wish there was an easier way to move those. Honestly, that's one of the features that I was really hoping we would get with the 2.0 update, was sort of the sandbox type building, like what you have in Happy Home, where you can just drag and drop things. But no, that's too easy. Nintendo wants us to work at least a little bit for our islands, which, respect, I get that. But I'm still going to complain about it. So I tried out the Nordic low board here, and I ended up not really caring for it, which I think was a combination of, oh, balloon, more money. I think it was a combination of the color and just not really loving it right there. So I did go back to see the Llama Man again, and I got him to repaint it, and I'm also going to be swapping these out for the other arches that I talked about earlier. And then just kind of rearranging the way that I had the table setup in front of the sofa because I found a different configuration that I liked a lot better. So I'm using the low table, the Nordic low table, along with the Moroccan stool. And then I'm going to put the low board over here on the other side with a little blender so that people can make themselves smoothies or blended adult beverages if that's their thing. I know that it is certainly my thing, but if it's not yours, that's okay. So now we're going to go back up and just drop these final finishing touches, and I am finally happy with the way the Lookout Lounge looks after much faffing about. We are so close to being done with this build. I did decide that I wanted to fill in a little bit of this kind of transition area between the airport and the hotel, just because it was looking very empty. And I wanted to make sure that it looked good in my end shots where I'm doing kind of the walkthrough of the build. So I'm going to get that set up really briefly. Oh, a balloon. Reception camera. So yeah, I'm just going to fill this in really quickly with just a little bit of plants and some fencing. Transition areas are hard, and this is an exceptionally small one right now, so it was mostly just a slapdash kind of job to get it done so that it would look nice in my end of the video shots. So I'm going to plunk this fire hydrant down and then go and get a little flower to put next to it, and then we should pretty much be done with the build and ready to see how it all came together. I will probably end up tweaking some things, but overall I am so happy with the way that this build came out, and I hope that you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could give it a like. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of my future builds, please consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell so that you can find out when I upload my next video. Wherever your journeys take you next, I hope you have safe and happy travels, and that you'll come back and visit Cloudberry again real soon.